welcome back to Kick My Asana. My name's Melanie Dawn, and today we are doing a shorter practice, but a lot is going to be packed in. So get ready to get your heart rate going, and let's open up the quads. Have you ever noticed that while we're practicing yoga that it's a lot about strengthening the quads, but there's not a ton about lengthening them? So we'll take your left leg forward and take a bend through your right knee and sweep your right heel back alongside your glute. Here you may already have a ton of sensation if you have tight quads. Maybe you have nothing going on here. If you have nothing going on, you're gonna start to lean back. And I can't go all the way, but some people will be able to. I can't because my fireplace is here, but some people will be able to either get down on their forearms or maybe even lay down altogether. Just remember that this is the beginning of class and no one is competing with you but you. And really that competition is about how kind and honest can I be with myself about where I'm at today. There is nobody else in competition with you other than that. Sending breath into the quad. Wim Hof does this technique where he rubs the muscle that's being stretched and maybe even pats it, bringing blood flow into it, and also a breath hold. So we can do the patting, the rubbing. Let's take a deep breath in, fill all the way up. Imagine as though the chest, the breast is expanding beyond the body. Hold at the top. And let it go. If you could spend the next 4 breaths dropping into a soft state of being, maybe closing the eyes, tuning inward. What do I need from my practice today? Where am I at? Why am I here? Let's take if you open your eyes, come on with me. Let's take that right knee out to the side of your body and have a 90-degree bend from ankle to knee. Bend your left knee so that your shin bone is now parallel with the top side of your mat and parallel with your belly button. So pressing that right leg towards your back body, almost as though the thigh is coming straight out of the hip socket, and then you have a 90-degree bend through both legs. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you start to drop forward. If you don't have a block, sometimes I even use my own shin bone, my own calf to support me, or you can plant palms or come all the way down to forearms. With my torn hamstring, I can really feel this tug in my left hip, and sometimes it's not always for me. If that's the case, you can come out and do pigeon with the left knee bent, or come onto your back and figure 4, left ankle across right thigh. We have 5 breaths here, going to your depth, closing your eyes if you're safe, where you are. Touching the discomfort, but staying away from pain. If you've made it to your back and you are in a figure 4 or you're on pigeon, you'll come all the way back up, bend through the left knee. Take your right foot, cross over left thigh, and come in for a twist. So I like to hug the knee in towards my heart just to warm up, and then hands rise overhead. Left elbow outside right thigh, right fingertips behind you, coming for that twist. Unwinding, right leg goes straight, left knee bends, and heel kicks back as your left knee drops down. We have a quad stretch on the left side. Your depth may look quite a bit different than it did on the first side. I hope you're always listening to that, not just trying to push through or bulldoze. This is how it should be. This is what it used to be, this is what I want it to be, and become really present with sensing it, feeling it, and then being with it without any expectation that it should be different. We'll bring shoulders over top of hips. Send your left knee back so that it's in line with your left hip. Right knee bends, shin becomes parallel with the top side of the mat. Belly button is looking at a shin bone parallel with top side of the mat. Maybe pressing down into the palms or finding a spot to rest. If it's too much, going onto your back or finding pigeon. It's strange to think that pigeon would be a relief to this posture, but vice versa for both. If you can't do pigeon, deer is likely medicine, and if you can't do deer, pigeon ends up being medicine. It's really quite strange. Strange in a cool way. I don't mean strange in like you're strange, but I think that they're so both intense. They're both intense, and if I had a problem with one, I think I'd avoid the other. Last breath. Stacking shoulders over hips, bringing right heel in towards the glute. Thread left ankle outside of right thigh. I do the big hug in. We don't get enough hugs. We don't get enough touch. So squeezing in, hands sweep up, and right elbow hooks left thigh. Left fingertips delicately drop down, not torquing the upper body, just offering it support, a stable foundation. We'll come back through center. Take your hands to the right side of your body and press down into the fingertips as you lift your hips, making your way all the way into a wide-legged forward fold. So the feet are wide, big toes pointed into center, heels pressing away from midpoint. Head is heavy. And you get a good look at my butt. I did not plan this well. I'll probably just, no, because then I'll mess everything up. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Turn your right toes towards the top side of the mat as you walk your hands forward and take a big step forward. Halfway lift. Empty fold. Rise up, mountain pose. And diving forward fold. If you'd like to step back and take a sun salutation here, you're more than welcome to, or just rock. Maybe your head's hanging, your arms are hanging, dangling from the shoulder sockets. We'll wait for you if you are doing sun salutation. Pausing for stillness at center, halfway lift. Forward fold. Rising all the way up, hands lift overhead as right knee lifts. On your exhale, left hand finds left hip, and you'll kick your heel back towards your glute and take a grip of the inside arch of the foot if it's available. If you have the inside arch of the foot, you're getting a little bit more of a shoulder stretch. You can grip the outside as well, but less of a shoulder stretch. Maybe this is where you stay. This is perfect posture, especially if you're working on opening the quads, working on balance. This would be where you stay, or you can start to kick into the palm of your hand as the toes go up, heart goes forward, and the left hand can start to sweep up for a dancer's pose. From dancer's pose, you have the option to drop into sugar cane. Left hand comes down and right hip rolls over top of left. Lots of core involvement here. And then if you are there, coming back up, dancer's pose. Whoa! If you fall out, that's okay. From dancer's pose, we'll release the bind of the foot, take thumbs into heart center, cross right ankle over left thigh, sink the hips back. So this one, I think Shelly said it earlier, quick and dirty. This one is definitely a quick and dirty one. If you have arm balance in this posture, you're welcome to go into it. We're breathing here for 5, 4, 3. If you're in your arm balance, you'll start to press back up. And we take hands overhead as knee comes hip height. And exhale, thumbs through heart center. Step both feet down to your mat. Whoo-wee! Those are always fun. I love, love, love dancer's pose into sugarcane. Option 2, vinyasa here, or hang out in mountain pose for 5 breaths. Clearly my body is tired as I'm opting out. When you're ready, hands sweep up overhead. Left knee comes up hip height. And then hands will find hips as you kick your heel towards your glute. Take an inside arch grip or outside arch. This depends again on shoulder stability, shoulder length. And then right hand could come up as you let's pause and roll back here, Melanie. Hand can stay at hip. This is perfect if you're working on this. If you're working on your quad, you're just driving your knee down, pressing the left hip forward, creating more openness in the hip. If you're going into dancer's pose, you're going to kick into the palm of your hand as maybe your right arm reaches up and forward. From dancers, you can also make your way into sugarcane. Right fingertips come down, touch, left hip rolls up and over. Coming back into dancers. Breathing for 3 more breaths. Still continuing to kick, pressing heart forward. Slow release. Hands come into heart center. Left ankle crosses right thigh. And sinking the hips down and back. If you want to see what the arm balance looks like, I think I have it on this side. Palms plant down. And then just like we did in side crow, the shin bone, or this time the shin bone stacks and the back leg lifts. Sometimes you can expand that out if you're not me and it's not today. Before, I could. As I'm going, you'll see that this improves. You'll see that you improve. We'll all be improving together. Last breath. As you breathe in, arms sweep up, knee comes up, hip height. Thumbs through heart center and both feet plant down, mountain pose. Palms along side body, turn forward, heart is lifted. Subtle breath. Maybe big breath, who knows. Option 2, vinyasa here if you haven't already, holding for 4 more breaths. You are firm through your feet, pulling energy up through your mat, into your body, into your breath. Sweeping arms overhead, diving forward into your fold. Halfway lift, empty fold, stepping back plank, hold. Roll onto outside arch of left foot. Left hand stays down slightly ahead of shoulder, and then right arm picks up, side plank. Right hand comes down, outside arch of right foot connects, left hand goes up, side plank. Both hands come down. Plank, option for knees, holding for 3. And knees drop. Stay close side by side. Hips sink back. Fingers reach towards the back of the mat as your head comes down. Closed knee, child's pose. Stay in your closed knee, child's pose for about 6-7 breaths. You can close your practice here, or when you're done your 6 or 7 breath, forehead is massaged, you can roll out onto your mat and take your Shavasana shape. Closing your practice always with a moment of introspection. As you become more self-realized, self-observed, your senses become heightened. The inner landscape, the sensory landscape becomes awake. Before you externalize, become aware of what has been propagated during your practice, whether it was awareness of a loud train of thought, an unstable body ruled by the mental landscape, maybe an injury that's plaguing you that you have resistance towards or could offer compassion to. Reflect on your practice before closing today. Namaste.